So the Trickster has been reworked and nobody seems happy about it. Survivors still don't like to play against him, experienced Trickster players are horrified and really unhappy with his current state.
And here we are, 6 months later, 4 months after my last video on this, and still no change in place. Not only that, many of us Trickster mains, including me, somewhat gave up on that already and stopped trying to improve the situation. So I've reached out to some other Trickster mains to get their opinions and participate on this video. Thank you everyone for responding and helping me out on this. Welcome to my hopefully last video on this whole Trickster rework, and today we are looking into what actually happened in the past 6 months, what the community did, what behavior did. But first of all, let's take a recap of what actually happened. If you want the whole package of information, there's a list of videos on my channel. Please have a look at them, watch them completely one after another. Here we will just have a short summary of what actually happened to cause this whole scenario to go off. The base story what happened. Trickster got a rework on the PTB in November 2023. Nobody asked for this. Not a single Trickster main or Trickster player asked for this rework. It was meant as a buff to him and also to make him more enjoyable to play as and against, but also make it easier to pick it up for beginners. In the end, certain content creators and the community cried about it being too strong because it was played with the strongest add-ons against bots, even though it was a nerf on paper. As a result, the live version got even nerfed more, completely down to the ground. At this point, Trickster was weaker than Freddy or Trapper ever were. Many still cried because he got buffed. They didn't understand the live version was so much different from what behavior promised on PTB that they simply complained because for them it was a buff still. In fact, the lower throw rate, more hits to take a health state, higher movement speed, forced M1 or certain add-ons to play Trickster to make it somewhat reliable were a huge nerf for most Trickster players because we liked to rely on knives, and knives were really terrible now. Also, many add-ons got changed or took collateral damage in the effect because the changes were just too big to make it somewhat work. In December 2023, Trickster got a band-aid fix. The fix contained minimal buffs on the base throw rate, main event throw rate, main event duration was buffed from 5 to 6 seconds, woohoo, and the decay of laceration was set back from 10 to 15, which was one of the biggest issues we Trickster mains had. Ever since, we're on the same broken version of Trickster and basically trapped in the loop of find a survivor, throw 8 knives, go main event, down him, hook them, find a new survivor, repeat. Ever since, the community worked a lot on ideas and suggestions how to fix Trickster, how to improve it, maybe even go back to the old version, but from behavior we heard nothing at all. The past 6 months there was a feedback thread in the forum created by behavior themselves as they wanted to listen to the community, and even there nobody was really happy. Trickster mains obviously not, but even casual Trickster players or survivors complained there that playing Trickster is not fun anymore and even less to play against. But besides a few mentions from community managers in there that promised to have a look into this, nothing happened. I know myself from my own work in the industry that community managers don't necessarily have the impact they would need, so I don't blame any CMs there for their statements. They have good intentions most of the time, but devs and producers sometimes just stomp on that. I've been there, I've seen it, I've experienced it myself. Still, that was the last contact we, as the Trickster community, had with behavior. At least from what I could dug up now. After some time, on April 2nd, Brevium had worked out a whole rework suggestion, posting it in the forums for behavior to see and community members to discuss it. Some of that got out of hand and got intervened by a mod, but overall this was another attempt of fighting for a better version of Trickster. That better version should be more fun for both sides, but until now it got unheard again. I linked both threads in the video description so you can read through that yourself, because it would take ages to go into every detail on that, but let me tell you that rework is actually really promising. It still got tinkered during the thread, but still it's very promising. But it's not only that the current version of Trickster is weaker than the old one, but there are also really terrible game and immersion breaking bugs on Trickster. So also during these past 6 months we collected bugs, balance issues, clips and complaints about the current Trickster, like how weak base main event is, that main event is more like a common event now and the whole thing isn't fun anymore at all. He feels bland to play and boring to play against. So here's a small list of game and immersion breaking bugs that are in the game ever since the rework, some even longer. First of all, the Memento Blades animation is bugged out. That's ever since the rework, and even though Behavior promised to fix this, didn't happen. There's a bug in the game that causes hitboxers to stay crouched while working on a gen and get hit or the gen being done or blocked, so knives can't hit the upper half of a running survivor. Also, the survivor UI bugs out and shows all hit indicators up on first hit most of the time instead of a single one and then ramping it up slowly. The Mori of Trickster is bugged out. There should be a voice line played that doesn't play for ages now. While some of these are less problematic and more immersion breaking and the others are more gameplay changing, this is just the 4 that appear the most in the game. There are many more as on every other killer, but we want to go step by step here. Also, there are many existing issues, like that many add-ons are useless, and 2 of them are even cosmetic. Soda and Autograph, they do literally nothing. Others rendered completely useless because of the base kit changes. Like Cut Through You or Edge of Revival are basically less useful now because of the additional hits we need to take on survivors. Now I will show you some of the clips to show what these bugs actually can do to you in the game. Oh god, throwing knives looks so slow, holy shit. Now look at this. Huh? What? You're kidding me! That was my main event! As I said, I asked some other Trickster mains on their opinions. All their channels are obviously linked in the description as well. Some of them gave up on fighting at all, because they feel like Behavior doesn't care about what we think and just do whatever they want with their characters. Which is on one hand completely within their rights, just to clarify, but on the other hand is maybe not the smartest regarding the community. Others started protesting actively, like Ravium officially announced that he won't be playing Trickster anymore until changes are announced or delivered.
I'm going to keep this pretty brief, but to the majority of the rework's existence, I've just felt very upset that Trickster has been kind of reduced, I guess, in terms of power level, in terms of like the effectiveness of his knives, the tap firing in general. Main event feels relatively like brain off, and it feels like you kind of take a break from playing the character whenever you press it. And all of that was given with the only real benefit being you get to M1 more. So yeah, I've resorted to effectively not playing the character at the time, and it's pretty tough, but I'm trying to just like make it very clear to Behavior that we don't want this, and we've been having to deal with it for the last like 6 months, so hopefully they fix it soon, but that's where we are.
A few more, like myself, lowered the amount of Trickster games, going for other killers and also more variety content, like some play more Overwatch or Valorant instead. Another group, like Blank, actually enjoys the new Trickster mostly, as 4.6 meters per second movement speed is very convenient and it allows you to pressure gens and chases more, which I absolutely agree on, but still have some issues on him, like the current iteration of main event, as it's not a real main event anymore. For example, the old no reload playstyle on Death Row's compilation was a lot better and more enjoyable compared to anything the current version can do. In the end, we all have something in common. We are stuck on this version. A version of Trickster where nobody is truly happy with. Neither the competitive core, nor the enthusiasts, and for sure not the survivors facing Trickster. So this is basically future me. I have recorded the whole rest of the video a few days ago, and this is literally the last part that I will record for this video. There will be something afterwards already, but this is the last part I record in the recording timeline. And this is my own conclusions, consequences and actions therefore in the future. First of all, I obviously know that if small people like Revium or me stop playing Trickster, it doesn't really affect a huge company like BHVR. Still, nonetheless, this is the only action I can take because Trickster at the moment, as he is right now, is not fun to play as. Therefore, I decided to minimize all the Trickster games on my stream as far as possible, as I always referenced myself as a quote-unquote Trickster / ranged main. That's a lot easier for me than for others. Watzek, for example, picked up a second killer now, the Doctor, because Trickster is just not enough fun anymore. Revium stopped playing Trickster completely, and therefore I think it's the best way for me for now, as I don't want to stop to play Dead by Daylight. I want to play Trickster though. That also means that I won't do another Trickster guide at the moment. I won't update the aiming as Trickster guide as I planned a few weeks ago, for now at least. If BHVR decides to actually change or fix or reroll Trickster to the old version at least, it looks different, then I don't need to update anyways, but maybe we can also stick to a compromise, as some people prefer the 4.6 meter per second version. Maybe we can just take the old version, the old add-ons, basically the old base kit. Even keep the recoil in, but just give him 4.6? Maybe? I don't know. Even though it's not necessary, because other ranged killers also have 4.4 and BHVR wouldn't go that far to weaken the Huntress headshots to make it more possible or viable for new players to pick it up. They found other ways to do that. They took the belts that gave headshots and changed them to a basically useless add-on, same as Photocard and Soda, and gave her therefore more base headshots. A similar effect on Clown. BHVR, as much as I love this game, I simply don't understand decisions, and you make it not easy to understand these or like these. So, as my last part of this video, I want to address a few words to BHVR. To BHVR. BHVR, please do something about the state of Trickster. We saw similar things happening on Onryo, Blight and Skull Merchant. On Onryo, you were fast to somewhat fix it. On Blight, you still try to hit the spot, rendering Blight mains insane with all the changes on add-ons. And Skull Merchant, like Trickster, got nerfed to the ground with the rework because of a community uproar and hasn't been touched ever since. But these are all potential videos on their own. On the other hand, I obviously understand you want to push new stuff. The anniversary looks great. The new chapter, Dungeons and Dragons, is promising. I'm looking forward to play as Vecna, spend more time on Slinger, Artist and Huntress. I also enjoy the unknown, but I came to this game for Trickster, and I want to main him, not this bland something that is his current state. It's not possible to enjoy this, because it's neither fun for me, nor for the survivors I face. Therefore, this is the end of this video. If you like Trickster, please share this video. If you don't like Trickster and think Trickster mains aren't allowed to have fun like some people in the YouTube comments do, maybe find a different hobby, I don't know. Maybe this game is just not for you. If you hate a certain character that much that you would rather wish people and communities bad things instead of compromising on maybe facing him a few games in a year or so, I don't know. And thanks for watching. I hope BHVR fixes our favorite Korean boy there again. I have no idea. If not, well, Maybe other Trickster mains will arise, but on this version, it looks dire, I guess. And that was more dramatic than it should be. But I guess that's okay.